World is getting colder, trying to get sober. Lord help me get stronger. World is on my shoulders.
How you doing today? This is the 12 at 12 podcast where we talk about real life and recovery, redemption, growth and development, because that's what it's about. And we are sponsored by First Step Recovery. If you need help with substance abuse disorders, severe mental illness, you can hit them up and they'll be happy to help you. See the numbers across the screen. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe for more. We're going to keep the content coming. And thanks for tuning in. We got a special guest today, Troy.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing, brother? Pleasure to meet you too, bro.
Likewise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Troy, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Born and raised right here in Louisville, Kentucky. People gonna probably butcher me over because they pronounce it Louisville.
Louisville?
You know? But it's really Louisville, named after King Louis XIV. Born and raised in the South End. Single mother home.
Okay.
I was really raised by 9 women. My mom, her twin, a whole bunch of cousins and aunts. Never really had a positive male role model in my life. So that's pretty much my childhood. You know, just poverty, living in the South End, constantly jumping from school to school because we was constantly moving because we couldn't keep up with the bills for something. That's about it. My mom remarried when I was 7. She remarried.
7?
Yeah, but
what happened to your dad? Was your dad just out of there? What happened with him?
Well, my dad is one of us. You know what I'm saying? He is a drug addict. God bless his soul. And the men on my dad's side of the family, they like to self-medicate. Okay. And so my dad was self-medicating with alcohol and whatever substance he could find at that time. And so, you know, he was in and out of my life, you know, a lot. He quit coming around when I was 9. There was an issue that had transpired with my father. Ended up putting his hands on me in a drunken stupor. And so my mom kept me away from him. He ended up coming back in my life and I graduated when I was 15. Yeah. And we ended up building a rapport then, and he wasn't a great father to me, but he ended up making his amends and making it right with me, and he was the best grandfather that I could have asked for my kids. Oh, okay. So I was super grateful for that. But with him being absent and not having a male role model in my life, it led me into the streets, and I started gangbanging at 11. You know what I'm saying? I got shot for the first time when I was 13. I got shot again when I was 18. I did a total of like 3 years, 10 months incarcerated. Some of it was in Kentucky and some of it was in Indiana. Yeah. Actually, what led me, so when I was younger, my first substance wasn't necessarily alcohol. It was marijuana. Marijuana?
Yeah. Quick question, do you think that's the gateway drug?
I think marijuana and alcohol both are a gateway drug.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, and then
one leads to the other. It seems like marijuana and alcohol kind of go hand in hand, right?
Absolutely. You know, and then you add the crowd with it, and then you might get that one bad apple that's doing something a little bit harder, and they're like, well, I trust this person. On top of trusting this person, this wasn't so bad, so what's so bad with this? Yeah. And I think that's the snowball effect that a lot of people fail to miss. However, I have seen people, you know, be intravenous users and then only be Cali sober. So, but for me, in my story, it's a gateway drug, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know?
So with you using the drugs, did that kind of lead you to the gang life? What kind of led you? Did it come with it, or how did that work?
So it came with it. So, you know, growing up, being a young one in the organization and affiliation, it was up to me to put in the work and earn my stripes and do that thing. And after my first mission, as they would call it, the way they celebrated was giving me weed. My stepfather, he smoked weed. It was always around me. My mom was like to the alcohol because of my dad, because he was an alcoholic. But when it came to marijuana, she had no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She had no bias against it. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool, this ain't nothing wrong with it. So at the age of 11 is where I started inebriating myself when it come to the marijuana. I didn't really start drinking until I was 18 because I was like, what's the big deal? Let me see what the big hype about it is. And I was like, this ain't as bad as she thinks. But when I started recalling and replaying the tapes back and looking at what I had done, how I behaved while under the influence of alcohol, I understand where she was coming from now. Yeah. You know, it takes over the spirit, makes a whole nother spirit on it.
Yeah, man. Hey, one thing about it, man, that a lot of people do a lot of bad things with alcohol, and sometimes you just black out, don't even remember what you done did. Then you wake up like, I did what? I was acting how? That's how bad alcohol actually is, to make you black out and not even know.
I did what?
Yeah, yeah. You wake up like, hold on, what happened?
Yeah,
what?
I did what?
It takes over, bro.
Where's my phone?
Yeah, it's like you're a whole other person, and you don't even, but you're still moving. You know what I'm saying? But it's spirits, man. That's what they call it.
Well, that's what I was about to speak on. One of my good mentors in the rooms, man. He talked about it. You see them alcohol, them liquor stores are called spirits, and it's based like if you ever seen the what's the one I'm looking for, the commercials for like bourbon and stuff. They say the spirit of this and the spirit of that. It changes your whole spirit and your whole being of who you are as a person once you put a substance inside of you. And I was never fully aware of that until I came into the rooms of recovery and started trying the recovery scene out.
Yeah. You know something, man. Like that's why, you know, me believing in God. You know, I don't like to push it on people, but it says to be sober minded, and then it says that for a reason. Because you move better when you're sober-minded. You're really who you are right now, but that I'm speaking to right now, and you're speaking to right now, we're sober. So this is who we really are.
Right.
You know, but when you're not sober, you're a completely different person. You act different. You think different. You feel different. You know? And a lot of times, like I said, like, we'll go through stuff in our life, and we try to use a false crutch. Hey, let's do some drugs or this, that. Or we get around certain people who might just dish it off on us. But then you got to look at it. How did they start?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It might not always be the worst intentions that a person might have to give you a substance or something. They might not have the worst intentions. You know, they might not have the best intentions either now. But that might be the only thing that they know. And then they'll dish it off, and then they'll be like, yo, this is my homeboy. But how did you know that? Because my homeboy hooked me up, or my dad gave me this, or my uncle, my cousins, they hooked me up with this. So that's the way they show love. They do it, giving people dope. Like you said, you went on a mission, and they celebrated with dope. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's smoke this up, man. Let's grab some drinks. Let's get twisted right now. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you did a good job.
Yeah. Pat on the back. And
you know.
So what I like to transmit to the clients and where I work at, you know, I'm not one of the people that like when I start getting depressed, I want to put something in me. I'm the type of person that walks in the party at the age of 11 and don't walk out till I'm 29. And so for me, that's my story. Like we celebrated, and I was like, yo, this is amazing. So like. There don't have to be a cloud on the horizon. There don't have to be nothing going on. It could be a good day, and I feel good. Let's have a good time. The thing is, I don't know when to stop. My party doesn't stop. But when I turned 18, I was real big in the music scene for a long time, and some homeboys of mine, man, they were able to like spit some stuff out. I'm like, man, what you got, man? God, I know that's not the weed. And the man's like, man, you don't want none of this. I'm like, man, quit playing with me. And so eventually, that's when I got introduced to methamphetamines. And so I ended up, after about a 3-month run on that and getting so heavily into the streets, it took everything from me. That's my drug of choice.
The meth?
Yes, that's my drug of choice. And it took I think, took my soul, you know? And the thing is, I got so more deep into the gang and the affiliation, more into the streets. That's how I ended up shot for the second time, because I was breaking into cars in the need of trying to find money or something to sell in order to get one more, and end up getting shot again. And
how did you get shot the first time?
I was 13 at a birthday party, and we were shooting squirrels, and this kid kept pointing a gun at me. And at this point, I'm official. I'm a part of this organization. And he was like, my dad's a leader of so many gangs, and I'm like, that's not real. Your dad's fake, and a little pride and ego.
Yeah.
And so he pointed the gun at me. I was like, you do it again, I'm gonna walk up on you. And he was like, all right. So he pointed at me again, and I walked up on him, and he put the gun on my stomach. And I said, you got to count to 3 to take this gun off my stomach, or I'm gonna hit you. And he was like, I said 1, he said 2, and I cocked back. When I did, he shot me. He shot me. I ended up having surgery. It took out a piece of my rib. So like you look, I have a floating rib down here. It took a chunk out of it from where the bullet ping-ponged everywhere. That was at 13, and then the second time I got shot at 18, the guy. So I was finding I found a magazine to a handgun underneath the car. So I was like, I gotta find this gun. This would be what I need. Any dope boy to take guns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the neighbors had came out and were like, get out of that car. And I was like, mind your own business. And I could hear the gun behind me cock. So I looked back, and I was like, and I took off running. He shot me with a 22. So luckily I was far enough to where the bullets didn't actually go into the body, but they could be picked out of the skin. So he shot me 6 times.
Dang.
Yeah. And so went to a little hood doctor, quote unquote, and got them pulled out. You know what I'm saying? Patched them up, and went right back to it. It wasn't enough to stop me.
So you didn't even go to the doctor for it?
No, not at all.
What was what was the effects going through your mind after that happened? It was just, did you ever even think twice, like, you know what, man, I might need to change, or was it just, you know what, this just comes with it, I'm gonna keep on going,
Absolutely. You know, when I got shot at 13, so my first friend had got murdered by police when I was 13 years old, and like that made me angry at the world. He was the one person in the world that was trying to teach. He was trying to defer me from it, but he wasn't forcing on me neither. He was letting me come at my own pace.
Yeah.
And when the police had murdered him, he was only 16 too. He died 4 days after his birthday. So when he had died, I was angry at the world, and I didn't care whether I lived or died. Right? My dad was gone. My home life was a wreck. And so therefore I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere except in the organization. So I was prepared to die. And I felt like my name held no depth and weight in any situation unless I was another statistic in the street. So whenever it happened, I was like, this comes with it. I've been shot before. I was like, and the thing is, my first addiction was adrenaline rush. So me getting shot, all it did was just feed my addiction even more. I was like, that was nice. I went back, did me some more, and went right back to doing what I was doing. And so I was like, I was
trying to chase that next high.
Yeah.
But it was adrenaline, like, hey, you know what, it's just a whole outlaw lifestyle that hey, you know what, and at the end of the day, like you said, if you make a name for yourself, I used to sit back and think about this, you know, and this was back in the day, but just the way you're thinking, like, hey, you know what, so many people get known more when they're dead. So then it's like, even you hear it in the music, you know what I'm saying? Pop used to talk about it back in the day. You weren't the first one to talk about it, but other people, you hear him, he was just the one to express, you know what I'm saying? Hey, like basically my name live on when I'm gone. And people start adopting the idea of, I want to die. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I die right now, today, whatever. As long as I'm gonna hold it down, keep it real, keep it G or whatever like that, then I'm gonna be known as the man when I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? So
who was it? It was Kendrick Lamar. He said the one that dies in front of the gun, or one in front of the gun, lives forever.
Yeah.
In that song, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, cool. This is my destiny. I did have a daughter at the time. You know, I had my first child when I was 16. I wanted to be a father because I was shown what not to do, but I didn't know what to do because it was never shown to me. So at 18, I had that 3-month run, and I ran into my first wife. And she was like, if you want to be with me, you got to cut that out. However, I was introduced to Xanax and other substances, but she was on top of me about moderating and keeping it under control. She'd be like, you're getting out of control, that's enough. I'm like, all right, bet. And I would back off of it. Now, smoking marijuana every day or drinking frequently, you know what I'm saying? I never put a substance down, but I was able to maintain it because I had someone on top of me, because I never had someone on top of me. They let me run around.
Yeah.
We ended up having a kid together. She's disabled. She has a brain disease called lissencephaly. It's a smooth brain. So she don't walk, she don't crawl, she don't talk. She has epilepsy real bad.
And that's your daughter?
That's my youngest daughter. And yeah, well, you know, we found out about her brain disease when she was 5 months old. And they told us she wouldn't live to be 6 months old. She'll be 10 in July.
Oh, that's a blessing, bro.
Right. So
it's a miracle right there.
Yeah, so I find gratitude every day, and you know what? I got to see life through the purest forms of eyes there is on this planet.
Yeah.
So, but me and her mother ended up splitting, and that's when I ended up going to do my time in Kentucky. And then I came home.
How long you did?
In Kentucky, I did 2.
2?
Yeah, in Kentucky, I did 2. I had a wanton endangerment on a police officer because me and my ex-wife were messing around on each other, and I couldn't take what I was dishing out. And you know what I'm saying?
Went off one day.
Yeah, it snapped. And so
was he high at the time? Was he high at the time?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
If he wasn't high, do you think that you would have handled things a little bit differently?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, absolutely not, man.
Being fully
transparent with you, being fully transparent, being honest, man. No, man. No, man. I was still an angry person because all the stuff that I had put myself through, all the things that I endured. I was looking for her to fix it, but wasn't willing to put the work in myself.
Yeah.
And I was treating her more like a mom instead of as a wife.
Okay.
And that was a big part of the demise of the relationship.
So you really wasn't ready to be.
No.
So that's one thing about it. People, that's one thing about it. You need to know this too. Before you get into relationships, it's best that you heal. That's an important thing. Heal from the trauma. Women, don't get in relationships thinking the next person is your actual daddy. Then you expect them to do all this. No, that's your partner. They have their own family. You have your own family. And two people who had their own family, even if they didn't have a family, they had somebody who birthed them. When you come together, it's two different backgrounds, two different ways of thinking. They're two different souls. So a lot of times people do get in relationships with certain drama, baggage, and things like that, and then start looking at them as, okay, listen, I want you to be my mom, or I want you to be my dad, or you know what I'm saying, my brother, whatever like that. You know, and that's why even words that people say, you know, you might have women who be like, I see it sometimes, women call their man bro. What do you mean, bro? That's your man. That's your husband. Bro, you got some issues you need to work out then, because there's no reason you should be calling your husband bro, or whoever you with bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, or a man should be calling it sis. What are you talking about? No. That's an issue right there that you realize, okay, something needs to be worked out. It's something that's need to be worked out and tweaked out in between your thinking, to realize the respect that's supposed to be held inside of a relationship. Right. To understand that, listen, you're not my bro, you're my wife, hey, you're my husband. You know what I'm saying? And then when they start getting that respect level, okay, it's, you know, even some people like to just be called dad. No. This is what it is. I'm not your dad. Now, if I had that type of relationship or you was missing your dad, that's one thing about that. Some dudes even be messed up in their head and like to be called dad. What are you talking about here? You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm your husband, or you're my wife, and y'all treat each other accordingly. But when you get into that relationship and y'all be having these skeletons in the closet and all type of other stuff that's connected with you, there's so many people in society, you know what I'm saying, like to go through that, you know, like to go through relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship, still chasing something that they went through when they was a child, or when they was in a bad relationship. And then they're like, hey, you know what? But once you heal people, once you actually heal, then you learn, you know what I'm saying? You have that real respect for that other person, for who they are. It's not even what they might have. Because a lot of people that went through and didn't have anything in their lifetime, and they're looking at a person, I want you to just provide every single thing, and it's unrealistic. You know, you can't just go to one person and expect you to just be there and provide every single thing I want in life.
So the major thing that I learned from that situation was, you know, the little boy inside of me that was earning for that unconditional love, I wasn't able to get it because she had shown me who she was. And there was, who she was not what my body or what my relationship was looking for, because I was unhealed. And so what I was doing was I was taking everything that I had, pouring into somebody else, hoping that their love would fix me. And it wasn't fixing me. So then that's when I started doing what I was doing. And I learned from it. And so after me and her split, so I got released February 1st, 2021. This real beautiful girl, man, God rest her soul, she's dead now. So she hits me up, and I thought she was a fake page because she was so pretty, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, I want to meet you. And I was like, man, whatever. Finally, I gave in and met her, and she was a real person, right? Her name was Kitty, but I call her Kitten, right? So I end up like, when you know, right? That's my person. I learned from where I had messed up in the past. And so I ended up asking her to marry me. She said yes, right? So May the 2nd, 2021, it's Derby night. And we're over in Indiana. And these guys keep pulling up on her. She's like, thank you. You know, they're like, oh, you're so pretty, whatever. If you got a beautiful woman, you can't be insecure about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's shutting it down. And but every time I pull away from her to go grab her some drinks, she's like, man, don't mess with dude, come mess with me. And she was like, hey, he's making me uncomfortable. So I pulled up on him and was like, look, bro, you do it again, we're gonna have to run this fade, you know? And he didn't like that too much. So we go to leave, she's had enough. Security guard looks at me and is like, hey, I was like, I see it, we're out of here, right? So we leave, and we couldn't get a ride. You know, we didn't drive, you know what I'm saying? We was being responsible as far as the substance goes. But I still had my handgun. I had packed my handgun out somewhere because I was supposed to stay the night with her at her dad's house that night. And her sister ends up in an altercation. Her sister's a pacifist. She don't fight. I've never seen her raise her voice. And this girl starts attacking her. My fiance at that time jumps in.
Hold on. This is all at the place?
Yeah.
Where were y'all at?
This was at Barrel House in Indiana. It's called 812 Losers now.
Is it a club?
It's a bar.
A bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this girl jumps on her. She jumps on the girl. We get them separated. And this dude's like, the girl's baby daddy at the time comes up. He's a big dude. He's bigger than me. He's like 6'4", well built. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, I got something for you. I was like, you ain't got nothing for nobody. And his friend shows his gun. He's like, we got this. And I've always been taught that I don't pull my gun unless I intend to use it.
Yeah.
Now, when I date a woman, it's her world. You just live in it, you know? And having that mentality, I was mad that you had the audacity to pretty much try to threaten my woman with a handgun. So now she's 5 foot nothing, 100 pounds soaking wet, and I got her in my arms. And in my mind, I had this grand idea. I'll let her go. She's gonna, because the girl she was fighting originally was like, I want you again type thing, right? I was like, all right, I know he's gonna pull his gun. I got mine. He don't know I have mine. I'm gonna smoke him and get away with it. And so I'll let her go, right? The girls altercation ensue again, and this is actually on video camera. I have the video for it. The girl's baby daddy jumps in, big dude. He's got my fiance by the hair. She has the girl in the car. He starts assaulting her.
What?
Yeah, so my fiance has the girl she was fighting. She has her on the hood of the car, laying into her. The girl's baby daddy's behind her. He grabs her by the hair. He starts hitting her. The friend with the gun,
Crazy.
the friend with the gun's behind him pulls it out and he tries to swing it. So as I see, this all unfolds in 0.2 seconds.
Wow.
So I run up, I pistol whip the big dude. They all fall. His friend turns around and shoots at me, but he misses. And I shoot him, and the bullet goes through him and hits his friend in the face.
Damn.
Indiana ended up catching me 2 weeks later, May the 18th. My first offer was 23 years. I had to serve 19 and a half flat before I came home. And she made a suicide note that said, if I can't live with him, I won't live without him. And they found, so I called home December 18th, 2022. And called up my homeboy because he was keeping up with her, helping her out while I was away fighting the case. It was self-defense.
Could the dude die?
I don't want to speak on it, right?
Okay.
So I called home December 18th, and I was like, hey, how's Kitten doing? He's like, you don't know? I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Because the state of Indiana put an EPO on us to where we couldn't talk or converse or anything. And I just told her my first offer. And he was like, man, she's dead. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, bro, they found her body. Now, when they found her December 18th, but she had been dead like 2 weeks when they found her. Yeah. And she had died from an overdose. You know what I'm saying? She took her life with an overdose.
Wow.
And so they ended up giving me 4 years, suspend 3, do 1, a whole bunch of mess, you know. I didn't understand how Indiana worked at all. Their laws are a little bit different, the way they do things.
Was it kind of like because he had a gun as a convicted felon?
So I actually dodged a bullet, right? So they were trying to hit me with that, but because it was my first time committing a crime in Indiana, they couldn't hit me with that law.
What?
Yes.
Wow, that's different.
Bro, dodged a bullet. Right?
Dang.
I dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
And now the irony of it is, right, is the two, so my original charge was a level 3 aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. They ended up dropping it to a level 5 battery with a deadly weapon. And then I pled guilty to that, and I pled guilty to handgun without a license. I got released May 17th, 2020. No, 22. 21 is when they found her body, December 18, 2021. I got released May 17, 2022, and that June they passed a law in Indiana, you ain't gotta have a handgun without a license.
Wow.
So I pled guilty to a charge that eventually went away. Yeah, so
Jeez.
Yeah, so I came home, my grandmother passed away immediately, and then what sent me to addiction, right? What led me to be here today. And this is a solution. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not trying to trauma dump or nothing. October 8th, 2022, my father hung himself.
Dang.
Right? My father hung himself. And the way I identified his body was the coroner showing me a picture of him hanging. He hung himself underneath Highway 44. Right? And so at that point, I threw my hands up. I didn't care about nothing. I knew that my daughter's mothers were there. I was like, I'm going to kill myself this way. And that's when I went back to methamphetamines. Probation got sick of me. They got tired of me being in and out, failing dirty drug tests and everything. So they sent me to CTS Russell. I ran from CTS Russell because at this point, like, you know, I'd been in the gang for so long and I've been doing it for so long that like, I'm sick of it. There's got to be something different. There's got to be something different.
And you were still active at that time.
Yeah. And I wanted the blessing to go inactive, right? And so I ran from the healing place. I ran from CTS Russell, went to the healing place. I forced probation's hand for the last time. I knew I'd been through 9 different treatment facilities. Some of them I completed, some of them I didn't. I know they're sick of me. Yeah. I know the healing place hold depths and weight. So I went there. Now, this is where I found my higher power, my understanding of what God is and how, because, you know, I went to church Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and what was taught to me was he was spiteful and he was this and he's not. God is amazing. God is loving and he is nurturing. Yeah. And he, you know, he will constantly disclose things to you and show you how much of a purpose you have in this world. Yeah. And I found that at the healing place.
Amen. Amen. Brother.
So I ended up getting out here. The irony is on Kitten's death date, I got kicked from the healing place December 18, 2023. I had 90 days clean and sober at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was worried because probation told me that if I don't complete this program, I go back to prison. And I'm scared. And these guys were watching me. They was like, man, you know, he's got little things to work out, but give him a shot. And so they gave me a shot, and they went to probation for me. Talked to probation. My sponsor did. A whole bunch, like 10 people advocated for me in order for me to stay out of prison. Oh wow! And I ended up here.
Nice.
I ended up here. I ended up completing probation. I completed that January 12th of this year. You know, I'm no longer on papers.
Congratulations, bro.
No, thank you. You know, I completed probation. I got my peer support license, so I work as a peer support over at the commitment house. You know what I'm saying? I get to help clients every day. I go to school right now actively for psychology because my goal is to work with kids 11 through 18 for gang prevention and drug addiction.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Good stuff, brother.
Because when I was a kid, I've been in therapy my whole life since I was 7 years old. And I know I didn't want to talk to Dr. Phil. You don't understand me. You can't relate to me. So why not? I'm not going to change nothing about myself. I'm not going to change the way that I dress or the way that I look. I'm not removing my tattoos. I'm going to reach them kids where they're at. You know what I'm saying? And that's my goal. And so right now, my major is psychology, my minor is addiction. And I'm going to work with them kids, man, because if I can just reach one, then that might be a kid that doesn't throw his life away. And so that's my purpose. And I found it all through God, man. You know, my own understanding of what God is and how he communicates to me. And that's how I ended up where I'm at, you know. But it took a lot of heartache, a lot of turmoil. I had to lose a lot of people. People that were blessings that meant to be in my life. God was like, you're too selfish. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bring them back home where they deserve love because you don't have it to give. And so that's what he did, you know. I'm active. I'm currently engaged again. I've learned from all my mistakes. Thank you. I've learned from all my mistakes. Yeah. You know.
So now you can move a little bit better on this one, not to be.
Yeah.
That's the key thing too. Hey, people, if you know what you did wrong, work on what you did wrong when you do it, and then do right. Do right. You know what I'm saying? Man, you know not to be. You might not need to spaz out or might not need to do something man. Like you might have did before.
Man, it's just one of them things where like I learned that you know, there's that old saying, you put your faith in man and it'll let you down every time. You know what I'm saying? So if I keep putting my faith in these people to fix me, that what's broken with me, that they didn't broke it, but it's not their place to fix it because that's God's place to fix it. Yeah. So I get in contact with my higher power. I work with him and I go to therapy. I do therapy, you know, every week. I do take medications. I do have mental health diagnosis. But I'm working on myself because can't nobody fix me but me and my higher power.
Yeah, so, that's it.
And so by taking a look at myself, all I see is my role, what I've done wrong. All right, what can I do today to be better?
Good, bro, because same thing I do, man, every day, man. Every day, just one day at a time, bro. No matter what you've been through, it's just like, you know what? I'm going to take the day to be better than I was yesterday.
That's right.
And then over time, you just do that one day at a time. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes, and you know, like I said, I believe in the Bible, so it always talks about your flesh and your spirit. So your flesh your old person would always try to rise up, and you might catch certain attitudes, you might feel certain type of ways, you know, and you're gonna always have that battle from being a new born again creature to that old person. As long as you live, you're always gonna have, I think everybody goes through that, but when you look at it on that level, it's like, you know what? These are my morals now. Those were my morals then. So two different ways of looking at life, two different ways I was moving. Now that old person, that's part of you. You can't take it away. That's just part of you as being part of the flesh. You know what I'm saying? You're still walking this earth. You're gonna have those old cravings that you used to have. The old drugs, you might just pop up one day. You might just have a dream and be like, dang, I woke up, what the heck I was dreaming about, hitting this shit, man, or smoking this here, taking this line here, or doing what the heck, drinking and partying. You wake up, have a whole dream. You think of reminiscing, it might throw your day off and be like, hold on a second, man, why am I dreaming this? You know what I'm saying? You might come across old friends because remember, you had an old life, you had an old past. You know, you got your family members. You might have people who knew who you were, but then they see the person you are. So that's the most important thing. Once you, like you said, key thing, you said you found your purpose. And I highly believe it. And he's 100% correct. Let me tell you, he's 100% correct when he say, you got to find your purpose, and your purpose come from God. Because who else your purpose going to come from? Where else is your purpose going to come from? You know, you ain't bringing your own happiness. And when you get that true happiness that comes from God, you get it outside of yourself. You get it with helping other people. Listen, like I said, hey, he's not gonna remove the tattoos. You ain't gotta remove your tattoos. You ain't gotta change. That's part of who you are. That's part of who you are. That's your testimony. That's your war. You got war wounds. You got scars. You got this, that going on. You know what I'm saying? Some people wear them on the outside. Some people got them on the inside. But the most important thing is once you figure out what's scarred up on the inside, and it seems like you went through that, and then you was at that point where, you know what, I'm done with it. And then you realize, you know what, I got to work with this. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I can't look forward to anybody else. You know what that's called? That's called accountability.
Yep.
You took accountability. You didn't blame anymore your situations. You didn't blame anymore. You know what? This happened, that happened. And so many of us, we go through life, we blame other people, and we can't get that true healing until we actually realize, you know what? Even though this happened, I got a problem. I gotta fix this. You know, God's letting me see me. I can't control what everybody else does. Everybody else in the world can be messed up, but as long as I'm standing up for what's right and I'm doing what's right, that's what's important.
That part.
You know, and then while we're going through that life, you know, like I said, you was affiliated. Once you're affiliated with gang life, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, you know what? Do these people really care for me like that?
So,
you know, it's some of them might do, but you know what I'm saying? Do you go back and let the people that you used, or if you're still around them, do they tell the difference of who you are?
So, you know, a lot of the people that join organizations or affiliations, they have that story of they didn't do nothing for me. I don't have that story. When I came home, so when I took my deal out of Indiana, I could have got time served with no papers if I sat another 6 months. But my youngest daughter, my handicapped daughter, her mother had ran off, and our daughter was staying with her mom at the time, and she was on the verge of losing her house. So I knew if I signed this deal, I go home today, I can go home, get a job, and immediately help her keep from losing her place, right? I had to sign an interstate compact, right? Because I live in Louisville, but my crime was in Indiana. I had to pay money for that. My daughter needed pull-ups. My daughter needed clothes. The guys that I associated myself with in the organization, they paid that for me.
Yeah.
Whenever I wasn't being a father, they were not messing with me at all. Whenever I wasn't righteous, if I wasn't moving the way that I was supposed to be moving, being like a man and standing on business, they wasn't messing with me. When I was doing all that young stuff and trying to carry pistols and do dope and all that, they weren't messing with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to help all brothers and sisters in righteous endeavors, right? And so I got my blessing. I got my blessing to be able to
be inactive.
Yeah. Yeah. Because of the fact that I'm helping people. You know, because when you're under the affiliation I'm under, you're supposed to grow. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to do things. You're supposed to help the community develop and to be something better than what they are. We're supposed to get educations. We're supposed to be better ourselves and bring our people up with us. And if I'm constantly doing something but doing nothing but being a home terrorist to the people in my neighborhood, how can I say that I love you? Yeah. And so now that I'm moving in a different manner with a different light and a different perception, that's why I got what I got.
Yeah. And I understand that, man, because, I was affiliated before and I became inactive years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not condoning it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not condoning it.
I never condone it, but you got, but even being part of an organization, you got, everybody in there is not just bad people. You know what I'm saying? So you got people in there who really care about you, but then you got ones who don't. But then it's just like, when I got the outlook of, and I realized, okay, this is my purpose, you know what? When I put God first, I realized, and I'm like, you know what? This is all it's really about. I don't care who you claim. I don't care where you from. It's how you come.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody might not come right, but I got love for everyone still. You know what I'm saying? No matter who they are. When I see the people still, if I'm in Orlando and around the way, you know what I'm saying? I see the people, that's where I'm from. See the people, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's no problem, but they understand, okay, dang, some of y'all still beef with these people. How you doing? Shoot, I'm out here helping the homeless. What? You out there? Oh yeah, dang, what are you doing over here, man? Shoot, I'm about to go, man, pray for some people over here at church. What? But like, dang. And then even the last time I ran across one of my old homeboys, they was basically like, and I was telling them, I was like, man, you know what, man, I always knew, man, you know what I'm saying? You just different, man. You just had you know what I'm saying? You got that good heart, man. Because I was always the guy that everybody used to come to talk about their problems. Dang, this going on with this going on with my dude, this going on with this, that. Over time, it's just, you got two different views, Me personally, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I got a view of this. I want to help people. I want to be better. I don't want to be known as this. I want to be known as that.
That's right.
I don't want to be known as being involved in this. I want to be known to be that person that anybody could come to that really gave back, not just to this person because I agree with what they got going. No, just to give back to everybody. I believe everybody deserves a chance. I don't care who you are, where you came from. I believe that God could change anybody. He changed me, changed them.
Yep.
He changed so many people throughout history. You know what I'm saying? You got people who might have been this way, but then they're this way now. So it's like, when I look at the views of how I got now, it's like, you know what? Compared to what I'm doing now, all the other stuff, I just feel like I was wasting time.
Yup.
It's not about anything. And I tell anybody that. And they know that because, like, when I told them, I said, man, this ain't about me, it's about God. Then I got a blessing being active because, why? Because I was, you know what I'm saying? I said, it's all about God. Now, I don't got no time for that. You know what I'm saying? I give my life to God full good. Became an ordained minister. Doing what I need to do, So when I'm doing that, it's like, okay, y'all still do what you do, but then now it's not, hey, what's good with you anymore, this, that, because we're on two different paths. Y'all still doing this, I'm not on this. So then I'm like, okay, dang, even the ones I was straight with, it still ended up falling apart because now it's like, you can't do it. What are you doing for us now?
Right.
And then it's like, dang, bro, I thought that we was, you know what I'm saying? But hey, if you ever need a prayer, they know I'm here.
Right.
But they just know I'm not involved in what they might have going on.
Well, man,
me personally.
When people can constantly come to you and be like, and use you as a weapon of mass destruction, I got so tired of being a weapon of mass destruction.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro.
And so when you see me, you're like, everybody's on the eggshells, like, what is he gonna do now? Well, how's he gonna be? I tormented this city for so long, 18 years. For 18 years, from 11 to 29, I had tormented this city and caused my havoc and done things I shouldn't have done. And now I got an amends I gotta make to this city. Yeah. And if that means if I can get one more person off the street, if I can help one more kid not do what I did and not have to carry a gun or end up in the hospital bed or end up in the institution or end up in the grave, then I've got another couple of years to go.
Yeah.
I used to glorify it. There's nothing glorious about it.
Yeah.
It's lonely. It's a lonely place to be in a car full of people to feel like you're the only person in the car, and I'm so used to seeing wolves in sheep's clothing that it's lonely when you can't trust somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, do you really have my intentions? Because how long did I do that time and ain't nobody hit me up? You know what I'm saying? Or how many times did I go check on your mom when you was gone, but you ain't check on my kids when I was gone? Yeah. And so people will show you who they are. You know, there was a psychology study. It takes 3 years to learn the good and bad and the ugly about somebody. Whether it's professional, friendship, romantic, whatever the situation may be. Usually one party or the other will put the other party on a pedestal within the first 6 months. We'll find all the good qualities we want to know about them, and over the next 2.5 years, they will show us who they are. And this mainly pertains to romantic relationships, right? Because that's what I did. I put my ex-wife on a pedestal. I was like, she got me out of that trap house when I was doing meth, and she saved me from it. Awesome. So I found all the qualities on her that I wanted, but I didn't even know her yet. You know what I'm saying? And so over the next 2.5 years, and we were together for 6, she showed me who she was, and like, all right, this isn't the love that I'm looking for. So I tried being nonchalant. I tried forcing her to love me. I lost myself completely, hoping that she would love me the way that I wanted her to love me, when really that's not who she was, and the love that I was looking for was something greater than myself. And you know, for so long I was putting my trust and my hope in a substance that could fit in my hand, but so why wouldn't I put my trust in something that's greater than me that I can't see? Because he never took his hand off of me, but I always turned my back on him. And so when I got to the healing place, it was December 17th, 2023. I'll never forget it. It's middle of December. I got shorts on, I got a beater, and the wind's blowing, and all I could feel is the wind on my hand, and it was the way that Gittin used to rub my hand. And so that's when I learned. I was like, all right, at that point, I quit sagging my pants. I quit wearing bandanas. The gang lingo, being biased on your affiliation in the rooms of recovery. Oh, I won't listen to you because you're a part of this affiliation. Some of the best dudes that I know are from a separate organization or have separate organization ties, and they help me so much. You know what I'm saying? So by letting go of all the bias, you know, in my office, there's a sign that I got. It says, you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I changed the way I look at things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Perception.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And ever since doing that, you know, I'll look back at myself sometimes. I'll sit back with my fiance and I'll be like, man, and she's like, what? I'm like, man, I used to think this was cool and that was cool. And now I don't have to feel the cold steel of a gun on my hip no more. I don't have to pump my gas with a gun in my hand. You
ain't got to be looking over your shoulder like that.
Waiting for the police, something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to worry about none of that no more. And it's liberating. It's liberating. And I owe it all to a power greater than myself in the rooms of recovery.
Yeah. Amen.
Straight up.
Amen, brother. Thanks for hearing that, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming in too, man. And that's a powerful testimony, man, because it's like, it's so much better when you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Now I don't have the problem with the police.
That part.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Come on.
You feel me? Hey, it feels good to be a law-abiding citizen. So everybody out there gooning, doing what y'all doing, thugging and all that stuff. Listen, I'm here to tell you, it's not worth it. I don't care where you from, what hood you from, what hood you claim, where you been. You could change the day.
Yeah.
You can start making a change today. Get you a 9 to 5. If you gotta relocate and go to a whole nother place, do that. Do what you need to do to get out of the situation you're in. Pray to God first. That's all I gotta say. Pray to God first and really put God first. He's going to lead you out of that situation that you're in right now. You might have been through a whole lot. You might be blaming God right now, but I'm here to tell you, you done tried everything you can right now, that you're really wanting to help. Put God first. Get that help that you need from the higher power. And then let that higher power outside of yourself, because you're powerless. You done tried it too many times. Yep. You done went back too many times. You done said you're gonna stop and then double back, then went back to doing it again. You done did this drug, went back to doing it again. You done tried to change this outlook and let this girl, it don't work. You done went down to this homeboy, it don't work. You done went to your families and friends, it don't work. You go to God, it's gonna work.
That part.
And he gonna heal you and then help that situation heal. And then you get go see a psychologist, go see a therapist, go see who you need to see. But once you put God first, he's gonna lead you to the help that you actually need. You know what I'm saying? To get where you need to be, man. Just take those steps, man. One day at a time. That's all we got to do,
right.
man.
And to the people,
Yep.
addiction is the only prison where the keys are on the inside. Addiction is the only prison where the keys are on the inside.
Keys on the inside. Mm-hmm. You can do it. Thank y'all all for tuning in to the 12 at 12 podcast. Remember, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to the channel for more. If you want to come on and share your testimony, tell the people the world how you changed, how you doing better than the last time. Hit us up. We'll be happy to have you on. Have a blessed day.